What if I told you that somewhere out there, another version of you is making different choices right now? That every decision you've ever made, every road you didn't take, still exists in another universe? It sounds like science fiction, right? But what if I told you that scientists may have already found proof through an experiment so controversial, so reality-shattering, that it was considered too dangerous to conduct? An experiment that, if completed, could rip open the veil between dimensions and show us that parallel universes aren't just theories, they're real. You see, the idea of parallel worlds isn't just a wild fantasy. It's deeply rooted in quantum physics, a branch of science so strange that even Einstein called it spooky. And there's one experiment, one forbidden experiment, that could finally prove we're living in a multiverse. But here's the real question. If we open the door to another reality, what happens when something on the other side looks back? Let's find out. To understand why this experiment was deemed too dangerous, we first need to talk about the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. In simple terms, this theory suggests that every time a choice is made, reality splits, creating a separate universe where the opposite choice was taken. For example, in this universe, you're watching this video. In another, you scrolled past it. In yet another, you never even existed. This isn't just speculation, there's real math behind it. But to test this theory, we'd need an experiment that interacts with other universes, and that's where things get terrifying. In the 20th century, scientists came up with a hypothetical experiment, one that could detect parallel worlds. It involved measuring quantum particles in a way that would force them to reveal if they were interacting with other versions of themselves in alternate realities. But there was a problem. If this experiment worked, we wouldn't just observe other universes, we might connect with them. And once that door is open, there's no telling what might come through. Let's talk about Schrödinger's cat, one of the most famous thought experiments in quantum mechanics. Imagine a cat inside a box with a 50-50 chance of being alive or dead. According to quantum physics, until we open the box and observe it, the cat exists in both states at once, both alive and dead. Now here's where things get crazy. If the many worlds interpretation is correct, when you open the box, the universe splits into two. One where you see the cat alive, another where you see the cat dead. This means every quantum event is constantly creating new universes. But what if we could manipulate these quantum states in a way that lets us send signals between realities? Enter the delayed choice quantum eraser experiment. This experiment, first proposed by physicist John Wheeler, suggested that decisions we make in the present could influence events that already happened in the past. Think about that. If we could send signals backwards in time, what's stopping another version of you from sending messages to this reality? Now, what if I told you this isn't just theory? In 2019, NASA scientists conducting a high-energy cosmic ray experiment in Antarctica accidentally detected particles that seemed to be moving backward in time. Some researchers believe this could be evidence of another universe, where time runs in reverse. Could this be the first sign that parallel worlds are interacting? And if so, what happens when the connection gets stronger? Of course, not everyone is convinced. Some physicists argue that the many worlds interpretation is just one of many explanations for quantum mechanics. For example, the Copenhagen interpretation suggests that reality doesn't split. Instead, particles exist in multiple states until they're observed. Others argue that while quantum mechanics is strange, there's no direct evidence that entire universes are created every time we make a choice. But here's the problem with skepticism. Science has been wrong before. At one point, we thought the Earth was the center of the universe. We thought time was absolute. We even thought quantum physics itself was nonsense. until we built computers and technology that depend on it. So, what if we're making the same mistake again? What if parallel universes aren't just possible, but inevitable? And, if so, have we already made contact without realizing it? If parallel universes do exist, what does that mean for you? For one, it would mean that every possible version of your life is already playing out somewhere else. That means the version of you that made a different choice yesterday, that version exists. The version of you that achieved your wildest dreams, real, in another universe. The version of you that never started watching this video, also real. And if that's true, then the choices you make in this reality are more important than you think. Because if infinite possibilities exist, then your actions determine which version of reality you get to experience. So the real question is, if you had the chance to send a message to your other selves, to guide them, warn them, or change their fate, what would you say? Or better yet, what if someone from another version of reality is already trying to contact you? Here's the truth. The forbidden experiment that proves parallel universes exist may already be happening. Quantum physics is telling us that reality isn't what we think it is, that we may be just one of countless versions of ourselves. And, while some scientists fear the consequences of proving it, the truth is, we may not have a choice. Because if parallel universes already exist, then we're not just on the edge of discovery. We're already inside it. And that brings us to the final question. If you could step into another universe, if you could choose another version of reality, would you? Or what if you already have?